Send out a message. And I guess while the stream is starting up, it says that it's basically started. Now it's just got to count backwards from negative 40 seconds, which I'm going to assume is what the stream delay is on it. I'm going to go ahead and open up the what we're going to be basically working on. Oh yeah, I forgot to change the title. Oh yeah, probably should have changed that. Sorry that I didn't change the title for you guys. That's on me. That's not on you guys. Should probably also plug in my mouse. That would help out way more. Yeah, stuffs, mates. Um, yeah, things and all this other stuff. What up, my ninja? I see how it is. Hey, Pixel, how are you doing? Um, I do get it. It's great. I saw your M4 by the way, and I really like the way that you did your M4. And the main reason that I'm doing the op in this stream is because you're M4, because it looked kind of difficult to do and stuff. So I was like, huh, I kind of want to do something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the real old L96 that I did like years ago. Like this ancient thing that I did March 7th of 2015 is when I uploaded it to Google Docs. So um, yeah, that, oh gosh, that's like the last time I messed with this damn thing. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be working with today. And we're gonna basically be converting it into the op from Counter-Strike Global Offenses. Global Offensive. I don't know why I said offenses. It's weird. Um, which shouldn't be too hard because I've pretty much got the entire thing down, but there's a few things that I want to be able to do. In particular, like this image, I guess, is the best one. This angle here and this right here is where this entire stock folds over. But it folds over the opposite direction because uh, this one's set up the wrong way. So I don't know why this image has been reversed, but the bolt handle shouldn't be on this side for the most part. I've never seen a left-handed op, so yeah, I'll be uh I'll be basically making kind of a Master Edition op, uh, which is the best way that I can put it. Um, and we won't really need a reference photo or anything. I'm gonna leave that tab open just in case. I got all this shit to upload as a video, but I still have these two videos to upload, and I'm pretty sure like the HKG3A4 that's right here is gonna be coming out like uh, after this video in particular. Like once this stream goes up, I'll probably go ahead and put up that video itself. But yeah, we'll do that eventually, sometime soon. I need to go through and clear up my download folder. Sorry you can't make it just yet, Busk. While you're doing algebra, I'm gonna laugh. Dat Lenny plays. I see you in chat now. Hello. Just kind of waiting on LDD to open up. Busker just got in the chat, so hi to Busker. I guess he said screw algebra and came over to me. I'm better than algebra anyways. I'll teach you all the Lego techniques you need to know to become a professional Lego builder so that you don't need to take no bullshit algebra. Don't worry, I got you, mate. um, so a few disclaimers that I'm always gonna have to do. I'll have this playing in the background while I'm working on algebra. Alright, that makes more sense. A few disclaimers that I'm gonna have to do before we necessarily get into building this amazing creation that is the op that I basically have done here. I just need to go through and do a few different things to it. Um, if you hear the laptop fan, I apologize. So I got to go have fun on Xbox. Yeah, I just gotta tell this friend goodbye. So if you hear the laptop fan, like obviously I apologize for that. My window is open because it's been relatively cool for the past few days here in Florida. So for the most part, we've been keeping like the house open, I guess you could say. Uh, but that being said, if a helicopter or a plane flies over, you're going to be able to hear that, and it's going to be pretty bad. And the reason for that is because I live essentially right down the road from an airport, which really sucks, but it's just there. So just so you guys know, like if shit happens, the reason why is because airport. Um, so the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to probably end up converting this over to 5 studs, uh, and then doing some weird things in this general area here, and then around the bolt. I don't know if I'm going to keep it to 5 studs or not, and if I don't, then I'll just take it all. I'll convert the L96 that you see here over to how the op should look. Like this little section right here needs to curve in just a little bit more than the basic op, but um, yeah. So far, we'll just go ahead and we'll take and we'll expand upon the design that we already have. The other disclaimer that I need to talk about is the other night a friend of mine sent me a text message, or actually called me, which is kind of surprising for my generation. But yes, people in my generation do call one another. He called me and he basically told me like, "Hey, we're going out to one of the Predators games, and uh, sorry, I got distracted by a kick message. Um, he called me and he's like, "Yo, we're going to a Predators game. If we pick you up and give you a free ticket, are you gonna go?" So I was like, "Okay, I'll go with you." Pixel Bricks left to go eat some soup, and then Ranger is in chat. So hi, Ranger. Um, so basically, what happened was since they were offering me a free ride to go see a football game, even though it's not the best football team in the world, in terms of like indoor arena football, I was like, you know what? These guys are being nice enough to pay for me to go inwards, so or go into the football game. So I'm gonna go with them. They're offering to pick me up. No problem. It'll be a good time. We'll have fun and whatnot. So I went with them, and you might notice my voice sounds a little bit different. And the reason my voice sounds a little bit different is because it's a very loud place inside of an arena. In particular, um, the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. That was the place that I went to. And when it gets loud like that, in order to talk to one another and do what we were doing, which is making fun of how horrible both these teams were, um, then basically you have to yell at one another. And when you're yelling at one another, your voice gets really hoarse. There was one point in time where the people beside us who were really drunk were edging us on to cheer for the Predators, even though we didn't really like the team and were making fun of them the entire time. So we were getting up out of our seats and yelling and doing all this other shit that we probably shouldn't have been doing. And because of that, and because I don't generally speaking do crazy shit like that, I ended up getting a sore voice, or like a strained voice. A strained voice is probably the best way to put it. So yes, guys, I do have like you'll probably be able to hear it. It sounds like a tad bit different from what it usually sounds like. So that is like it's the primary reason uh, behind how I may or may not sound. So just so you guys know, uh, there's not going to be much new building going on here. All we're really doing is taking and copying over this design over here into a 5 stud chassis. Uh, Not yet, anyhow. I'm pretty sure when we get around to this area and I want to drop it on down to 4 studs, we'll get into doing some interesting techniques and the more interesting things and whatnot. But soon enough, eventually, I guess. Um, yeah, though the Predators are one of like the worst football teams I've ever seen in my life, and Portland as well, because Portland was the team that we were going up against. Uh, but oh my gosh, they're so bad. Like oh, I can't even. Like half the guys on the team were super afraid of getting hit, and by hit I mean like tackled or anything like that. So they'd catch the ball to return it or run the ball up the field or something like that, and they saw like one dude coming out them, and then they'd like just freeze and stop moving. They wouldn't try to juke past them. They wouldn't stiff arm. They wouldn't try to um, put down a shoulder and push through the guy. They wouldn't try any of that stuff. They were just that just that bad. They're so afraid. It was I couldn't even with them. Uh, at one point, the field kicker, the kicker, yeah, the kicker. I almost forgot the title that he has. The kicker for the Predators went up and he was going to do an extra point after a touchdown. And for those of you who don't know, in arena football, the arena is 50 yards of field, so it's half the size of a normal football field. But the goalposts for your field goal are drawn in closer so that it's a harder uh, extra point kick, basically. So our kicker walked up there and was like, "All right, I got this, guys. I got this, no problems." And we were all like cheering for him up in the stands and stuff like that. And he kicked this 10-yard field goal and missed. And I mean missed. He missed horribly. He hit the upright. And that is embarrassing when you are a professional kicker on a professional team to walk up there and miss a 10-yard field goal. And then the irony behind it is immediately after missing that 10-yard field goal, you have to kick the ball back to the opposing team. When he kicked the ball back to the opposing team, he made it into the uprights from 50 yards. I don't understand how you can like literally miss a 10-yard field goal and then make a 50-yard one. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Hey Luke, I see you in chat now. Uh, so yeah. What else happened? There were people like the real fun that we had was that there were people that were taking this like super seriously. Like we're talking about uh, this one guy was up out of his chair talking mad shit to one of the Portland players when the Portland player walked by um, about how they sucked and all this other stuff. And you could definitely tell from even where we were sitting because he was really upset, or not really upset, but really just trying to show that he had no chill, I guess is the best way to put it. He wasn't relaxed about the game at all. Like football games are supposed to be something fun that you go out with and you have like it's good time for the families and things like that. But yeah, no, these guys, yeah, that wasn't a thing at all. The cheerleaders are pretty hot though. I got a picture with one of the cheerleaders. That was a great time. Um, what else happened? I feel bad for my boy Ronnie. Even though he did me dirty at the game with some other stuff that I ain't gonna talk about. I feel bad for him because the people that he was sitting beside were drunk older women um, who, like, every time there was a 70s song came up that we didn't know, she would lean over and rub on his back and stuff and be like, "Oh, honey, I know you ain't ever heard this song in your life because you were born before its time, before this song came out, but it's okay. You'll get used to it as long as you hang around with me a little bit more. We'll be all good and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, no, just I'm sorry, Ronnie. I'm sorry that you had to sit there. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for him. He got screwed over by those women. It was just it was not okay." Um, I want to say at one point they asked us to watch after their like two sons, which were sitting in front of us, so there was like a row between us and stuff. I said hi, Luke, unless you're saying hi back, in which case hi back, I guess. But they asked us to watch their sons and stuff, and I should probably turn off notifications for Facebook. And what was really annoying about that is because like we are a bunch of 19, 18-year olds. We don't have kids. We don't watch kids. We aren't anyone's babysitters. That's a no, fuck that type shit right there. Uh, I don't think so. Well, about I want to say a good 10 minutes into the first half of the game, or the first quarter, I should say, the first quarter. I keep forgetting that football is divided into quarters. I keep thinking about soccer. Uh, she was her the like kids' parents were wasted, like completely drunk, and it was only like 10 minutes into the game. It was pretty damn ridiculous. Uh, And the basically when we got there, the woman was sitting in our seats, and we had to pull out the tickets and show her that those were our seats and she couldn't be there, and we paid for them, and obviously her being there is not okay because she's in our seats and those are our seats. So get up out of our damn seats. And when she got up out of her seat, which was my seat, she left her beer in the cup holder, which is kind of a problem because, well, I'm only 19 and I can't drink. I'm underage. And she leaned over afterwards, realizing what she had done, and she's like, "Hey, can I have my beer back?" And I went to go hand it back to her, and she's like, "Hey, if you want like some of it, you can have it. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, I could just go buy another one. I know you guys are probably just here to have fun anyways, so it's whatever if you want some." And I was like, yeah, no thanks, woman. I don't want a taste of your shitty beer. I don't know what diseases you have. I don't know what type of beer this is. Chances are I'm not gonna like it anyways. Yeah, no thanks." So I just handed it back to her and I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm all right." And the funny thing is, I look 21. That's the funny thing. So I asked my friends today if like she really was meaning to give me the beer because I look 21, or if she was just that drunk that I looked 21. But apparently, I really do look 21. So yeah, the gun looks very cool. Thank you. But that's an older L96 model that we won't be working with today. Like the only reason I'm using it is because I'm using it as a template, so I don't have to redesign the gun from scratch because laziness is a thing. Um, so yeah. um, I for the first time ever, I watched someone run off the field of a football game, which is I didn't even think was physically possible. A Portland player was receiving the ball from a punt. I hate how there are people like you who work hard and don't get enough exposure. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, like I started a trend on YouTube and I haven't gotten credit for it yet, but that doesn't really bother me because it's still something that brings together the community. And even though I'm not getting credit for it yet, I know at one point in time people are going to be like, yeah, the guy who originally started this was me and whatnot. Busk, the reason I didn't drink the beer is because you're right, beer is nasty. Ranger, you would have chugged it. That's up to you, mate. Like, if you like beer, that's all cool, but I don't in particular. I like my drinks to be a little bit more fruity. Um, so yeah. But yeah, no, this Portland guy was receiving a ball from a kick that was coming off of a touchdown. So he basically was going to return the ball up the field, and you know how if you have a touchback, you go up to the 20-yard, things like that. Well, he caught the ball, and this is like one of the first times that he did actually catch the ball because there was multiple times where he, in fact, dropped the ball instead of catching it, which is hilarious because then he had to dive up on top of it. But that's besides the point. He caught the ball and he looked down and he saw two guys rushing at him. And when he saw the two guys rushing at him, he literally, I shit you not, like I literally can't just make up this story because it's too stupid for me to make this up. He literally looked at the guys rushing him, said no, and ran off the field. He ran through the end zone that he was standing in, and then back into one of the tunnels that lead onto the field, like where the players would have came out of at the start of the match. He literally ran off the field because he was so scared of getting tackled. That's some shit that I've never seen in my life. Yeah, a lot of beer is gross, but there's a lot of beer and stuff that is really good. I'm going to assume that some of the beers like in the countries that have been more established when it comes to beer making would be really good. So I don't be stereotypical, but like Scotland, Ireland, places like that, their ales would probably be really, really good. But that's in Scotland and Ireland, and considering I don't make like godly amounts of money doing YouTube, I can't go there just yet. I have relatives who live there that I could probably ask next time like they come down if I can go over there back with them, but that's next time they come down, and I don't think that's going to be like for a long time. So yeah, I think your name is Ian, but I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'm really bad with names. It's really embarrassing. If it was Japanese, it'd be Eon, Eon, because your makes an sound. Your ah makes an ah sound, and then your e makes an eh. So it'd be like aeon, aeon. I can't even do it right. I'm so bad. I'm sorry. I keep butchering names. It's not even funny. Um, but yeah, no, he's asking what guns I'm gonna be making next. Well, obviously the op from Counter-Strike Global Offensive because op Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Um, I don't want to spoil too much because then you guys like won't have anything to look forward to. Uh, after this model, or maybe another model after this one, I don't know. But the KN-44 is definitely on the list because the KN-44 is one of my favorite guns from Black Ops 3 at the current state and time of the game because it's serving me pretty well actually. I didn't think it was that good a while back because it had some nerfs or something to it and whatnot, and it wasn't doing okay or anything like that. The only real reason to use it at that point would have been because it doesn't have a suppressor problem or anything like that, but or like a range drop or damage drop when you put a suppressor on it compared to the other assault rifles. But other than that, it was like a really crappy gun to use, so I really didn't consider using it. But now that it's gotten kind of buffed a little bit more, and I got dark matter on all my primaries and whatnot, and I'm a prestige master, and I'm starting to move on into doing some of the other challenges and stuff in the game. Now I've gone back and I've started to use it just a tad bit more because it's actually pretty damn good. Wait, when do you start getting paid? Because I want to get ton of money train. Uh, well, I mean, I haven't set up my bank account with Google AdSense yet, so technically I haven't gotten paid at all. But in terms of money that's sitting on hold, it's not that much. Like you don't, I can't legally disclose the amount of money that I make off of YouTube, elsewise I'm violating the terms of services contract and whatnot that they make you sign at the very start of uh, the thing whenever you have your videos monetized and whatnot. But the other point to that is I can tell you I'm not making that much money. I'm not making enough to go to Scotland or Ireland or all these other places and enjoy drinking uh, ales and beers and other things that I assume they have. I really like to go to Russia and have some of their vodka. I know their vodka would be really good. It warmed me up in Tennessee when I used to live in Tennessee, where it was more mildly cold most of the time. Um, yeah. So I'm thinking that I'm probably gonna have to finish off the back portion of the stock, and then right about here, I'm gonna start sloping on down the four studs, which is why I stopped right about here. And then I'll probably come back in. I'll fill in these gaps here, just to obviously fill in the gaps because gaps aren't gaps are not okay. Also depends on how many subs you have. It depends on how it used to be how many subs you have, but then people started botting YouTube subs basically, which is just making a bunch of fake accounts using fake emails, and then they'd artificially inflate the amount of sub counts they have. And when YouTube find out about this, they're like, hell no, we can't. Oh gosh, I burped in my mouth. Sorry, guys. We can't have this because if you're artificially inflating your subs, you're basically lying to how many people are watching your videos. Uh, so it doesn't work like that. So how it works now is it's based entirely on how many minutes your videos are watched. So the more minutes your videos are watched, the more AdSense money that you'd be making off of it, basically. Um, so it's essentially if you put out good quality content and people watch it all the way through, you'll make more money. Um, the what subs have started being used for now is getting your channel promoted out more and more. So the higher the number of subs you have, the higher up in the search results on YouTube that you'll be. Not to mention, there's other methods that you could do, which is why clickbait is such an issue on YouTube because if you have a clickbait title, you can have a you can basically artificially kind of work around YouTube search engines and search inquiries. Inquiries. I can't even say that word. Why did I even try to use it? Uh, so that you end up on a search result list higher up than someone else who actually needs to be on the search list is. Like if I myself search for one of my own Lego models, I won't show up until I won't show up until like the second or third page when I look up one of my gun models. But if I look up my different usernames equivalent gun model, he'll be on the first page along with Zati Nobbies or Nick Brick if Nick Brick had by chance made it. If I search up Halo Sniper Rifle, chances are Nick Brick is going to be one of the first links because Nick Brick's awesome. Uh, I was reading this thing and it said something about advertising. Yeah. If you do get more subs, won't it be harder to communicate to your audience? Yeah, it would be a little bit harder to communicate because eventually there's going to be so many comments coming in at one point in time that I won't be able to read them all like I currently do. And I respond to everyone that I currently do now, aside from those people who always say first on a video because what am I going to say to those people in particular? I really don't know. But in terms of being able to communicate with everyone, yeah, it'd be a little bit harder. Like chats like this where it's like nice and easy to go through. I can just read chat as it comes to me. I don't have to be looking up at it constantly and stuff like that. Uh, it's fairly easy, but I kind of want to set up a system where uh, the core Google Hangouts group can help me during live streams when we reach the point in which we have godly amount of people in chat, so that any like serious questions or serious things concerning the model are directed towards me. I could have the people in Google Hangouts like forward me a message or something like that that says like so and so asked this, do you mind answering or something like that. Uh, so yeah. If you keep seeing the Facebook notifications pop up, I really apologize about that. I'd probably send them a message telling them all to shut the fuck up, but they'd be rude, so I'm not gonna do that. I already made one person quit out of that chat today, so I don't want to make all of them quit out of that chat. I literally said one thing to this guy and, as a joke, and he literally said, "All right, I'm done." And then next after that, it said, "So and so has left the chat," and I was like, "Wow, can't believe it." I literally said one thing. Oh man. So yeah, this is this one's gonna probably be broken up into quite a few streams because uh I'm kind of tired. Like I slept in today because my new student experience class was technically canceled. Well, not really canceled, but she's having one-on-one meetings with all the students, which basically means you come in and you talk about your state in which you are doing in the class, like if you're gonna pass or fail. Uh, and don't worry, like I'm definitely gonna pass. She didn't really say anything about me failing or anything like that. She said I should be fine as long as I keep doing what I'm doing. But because that's my earliest class and it was basically canceled, and I didn't have my one-on-one meeting with her until 4 today, I got to sleep in. And even though I slept in, I'm still tired. I really don't know why. So yeah, I see Oliver in chat right now, and it is 4 a.m. in the UK right now. You are always up during this time for some reason, and I don't know why, but I appreciate you coming out and being in the live stream with us and whatnot because it's nice to know that I have people all over the world watching me, uh, especially talking to people from all over the world because I get to hear what uh, different different things are like uh, in different countries. So it's really nice. Oh man. But yeah, no, today was a pretty laid back day. The math problem that we went over in college algebra today, which is usually one of the hardest classes that I have, because the teacher doesn't really teach us anything. You just, oh, you just woke up. Okay. I don't know why you're up at 4 in the morning. I guess you're going to school or something like that over in the UK because it is Tuesday, technically. You're actually ahead of me. I'm technically behind you in days, aren't I? Yeah, it's 11:09, so it's Monday for me, whereas it's Tuesday for you. So that's kind of cool. Interesting. Uh, but yeah, no, math today was fairly simple. All we did was we did a linear progression problem, and it was going to get more complicated, but we ran out of time because the first three linear progressions that we did, which where we had to set up an equation basically based off of point slope form, and a table of charts and things like that, which is fairly easy stuff, and that is like Algebra 2 stuff that everyone does. Uh, Took us basically the entire class time because he kept making different points about the graphs and how they look, and if it's approaching this percentage, then it's gonna start leveling out and acting like an asymptote and things like that, and whatnot. But he kind of screwed us all over because we were talking about the total percentage of men that were married by X amount of date, and at one point he's like, "Well, what's wrong with this graph?" And he drew like a really rough sketch, which is basically just a what you draw when you're not really putting numbers on it. You're not putting a direct scale or anything like that. You're just throwing lines up there. And he put down 100% and then went above that, and none of us caught that he went above 100%. And basically, the point was, if you go 100% men married, it doesn't really make sense. So uh, your men, when your men is approaching that horizontal asymptote of 100%, it only approaches it. It never really crosses over it. So it's really weird. Today at school, I started screaming things in German at this one kid, and he got Luke so pissed at me. And he got like so pissed at me. I mean, that's your prerogative if you want to do that, but I've screamed a few dumb things in my days at high school, and I don't necessarily regret it because nothing ever happened to me, but I know a few people who will never look at me uh, the same way. Basically, they think I'm all racist or xenophobic or things like that because of what I said and whatnot. But that is your prerogative. I'll tell you now, the best thing to do is to make connections rather than make everyone angry at you because the more connections you have, the more favors you can call in. So if you're about to fail the math test and someone that you know has a better grade than you in the class, and you could just talk to them real quick and be like, "Yo, I need help with this so and so problem. Can you help me out real quick?" That's a better thing than making them all mad at you and then failing the course and then having to retake it because, well, failing the course makes you one of the laughing stocks of the school. What did you say? What he should have said is Ich bin über auf es ich sake auf Feuer, I think. My German is really bad. Um, he should have basically shouted that he's about to eat a sock on fire, which is the sentence that I just tried to make, which I haven't said in a long time, which is why I failed so miserably. But Ich bin über auf Essen sake auf Feuer. There we go. That's the entire thing. I just had to think about it. I'm a freshman. I don't know. I'm a freshman, and a lot of kids in my grade do the same thing too. Yeah, I guess the new thing is to just shout random German things at people who don't know the language so that they flip out and whatnot. My college days are Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm awake because I went to bed early. I kind of know your pain. Like if I ever stay up really late playing games with friends on Xbox Live and my sleep schedule rolls over, that's when I have the problem, and it really sucks. I'm hoping like tonight I'll fall asleep by 1 or 2. What is the worst type of content on YouTube? Probably reaction videos because they're not funny. Reaction videos and or prank videos. And in terms of reaction videos, it's mostly because I think it's not that the reactions aren't funny. It's mostly that I think they're stealing content from people. So for example, you can watch the entire My Little Pony series on YouTube if you just find a bunch of different React videos to it, which is stealing money from Hasbro, which isn't okay because, well, Hasbro is a business that needs to make, well, money. And because they need to make money, if their entire thing is being ripped off by other people on YouTube, then they won't be making money. If they're not making money, then all the people who like My Little Pony who are watching it on YouTube aren't going to have other seasons of the show, which is a problem because then it's just this like perpetuating cycle kind of thing, which is not okay for the show. Um, and then the prank videos are some of the worst. And the reasons the prank videos are the worst is because uh, Sam Peppers, I think is his name. I've watched this video once, and I don't think I ever want to watch it again because it was not okay. He basically set up his friend to think that they both of them got kidnapped, and then he basically planned it so that he would get executed right in front of his best friend who had known him for all of his life. And yeah, it's not okay. This is coming from someone who, generally speaking, does fucked up things with his free time, anyways. But like me, I do fucked up things in my free time all the time, and I do it with my friends all the time too. But I don't think I'd ever purposely kidnap one of them and then have one of my other friends fake shoot me so that all my friends like flip shit about me. That's fucked up. That's too far. Don't ever do that to like any of your friends, guys, because that's not okay. Please don't. I'd say toy reviews is one of the worst ones. It depends on what toy and it depends on who's doing it. Like I like Drac, who does the Nerf airsoft gun reviews and the modifications. Like he's a pretty cool guy. I like learning about different mechanical engineer things. I'm studying to become a mechanical engineer myself, so that kind of stuff is just interesting to me. And he has the persona for it, and he has the voice for it, and it just works with him. But it depends on who it is. Brickvolt, which is Level Cap's new channel that he started with his brother, where they discuss Lego reviews and things like that, is a fairly nice channel. I like that one a lot. Airsoftology, which does airsoft gun reviews and things like that, is a nice one. I really like that channel. So it depends on who's doing the gun review, or not the gun review, but the like toy review. But yeah, should I call you anything else than ninja or like? It depends on whatever you want to call me. I'm not really particular about what you call me. It doesn't bother me. Um, yeah, like I said, it just doesn't bother me. Some prank videos are funny. Yeah, it depends on which one. It just I like prank videos where they don't take it too far. When you have people who walk up and they're sexually harassing women and it's in the name of a prank, it's not okay because that just gets the social stigma in there that men can walk up, sexually harass women, say that it's a prank, and then get away with doing anything that they want because it's funny and you were just pranked. Uh, so yeah, it's not okay. Um, like I want to think of one that I watched the other day that I just really didn't find particularly okay. There's these guys who call themselves pickup artists, and basically what they do is stalk these women around places, and they'll come over and they'll talk, which is okay. Like if you're going to pick up a woman, the first thing that you want to do is obviously engage in meaningful conversation, which is fine. But the problem is when you engage with meaningful conversation, and she's like, okay, well I got to go talk to you later, whatever, or something like that. You say, okay, whatever. It was nice talking to you. Like, do you come here often? When are you going to be here again? Things like that. These guys would literally follow the women to their cars, and then the women are like, okay, well, I'm going home now. Bye, or something like that. And the men would go, oh, okay, that's fine. And then they would grab them and they would forcefully kiss them, which is basically the equivalent of rape. It's more like sexual harassment at that point, but it's not okay. And when you show this on YouTube, you're telling an entire generation of men that are growing up that it's physically okay to go out and grab women and force them to kiss you because it's all in the name of a prank or something like that, which is, yeah, it's not okay. It's just a prank, bro. Yeah, no. That excuse doesn't fly with me. Like, just because it's just a prank, it doesn't mean it's okay. Um, People who go out to golf courses and blow air horns like once or twice, that's fine. That's harmless. Like I don't know why people get upset when they do that and whatnot. I'm okay with more mature toy review channels, not the shitty giant surprise eggs. I don't know what shitty giant surprise eggs are. I guess it's a type of channel or someone who runs a channel or something like that, but I don't know who it is, so sorry. Um, I think I'll finish off the top of the stock up to here, and then I need to get something to drink. Uh, because my voice is killing me. And the unfortunate part is we literally don't have anything to drink, and it's pissing me off. Like there's no soda in there at all, and that freaking sucks. I want to say there's like I'm gonna have to take one of the water bottles that I have lying around my room as trash and fill up one of those with water because we literally just don't have anything to drink, which freaking sucks. I don't want to do that. Who watches iDubbbz? I don't know who iDubbbz is, so I don't. Um, I guess if he's like a game commentary channel, that's really funny. The only game commentary channel that I watch that's really funny is Critical, because Critical is Bay. I love Critical, and he actually doesn't live too far from me, to be honest. I could probably drive to his house if he ever tells us where he lives or something like that, which is unlikely, but in case he does, I could probably go visit him. It's getting hot in my room too, so when I go get a drink, I'll probably also I'll flip the fan on. So if you guys start hearing both the laptop fan and my other fan, then yes. One of my friends shared a video of ISIS beheading a guy, and it was a legit video, and he ended up getting investigated by the police for radicalism. Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me. If you're ever gonna watch one of those videos, make sure that you're going through proxies and things like that, so that you don't get really in trouble for it, because you can get in trouble for it. If you want to know how far the I guess you could say the society has come into in terms of being afraid of ISIS and all these other countries and things like that. My junior year of high school, I was on the website ebike.com. For those of you who don't know what ebike.com is, it is an airsoft megastore. Like you basically go on there if you want an airsoft gun, they'll probably have it. You can buy airsoft guns and things like that, and then it gets delivered to your house and things like that. And uh, some of you probably know this who've been around on my channel for a while, but my high school had what they call a digital curriculum program where you're basically using laptops for your classes. Well, I was in the middle of class. I had finished my work, so no harm done. I had nothing really better to do other than jerk off in the corner. And because I didn't want to jerk off in the corner in front of everyone, I figured, what's the harm in going to evike.com and looking at a few airsoft guns so I can get ideas for some of the new weapons that I'm going to do, which is where I got the swordfish design for, by the way, because that's where I first saw the swordfish and I really fell in love with the swordfish, which is one of the upcoming models that I'm doing. So there's a hint right there. And as I was doing that, uh, I guess one of my classmates behind me noticed me looking at the website and in particular didn't like the things that I was looking at. So I'm going to assume it's a she because I knew all the guys in that class and all the guys in that class were really chill about things like this because they all played the sport as well. But yeah, so she reported me to my teacher, whose name shall be anonymous because, well, it's whatever. And she's also one of my favorite teachers. So, but yeah, no, I got reported to that teacher, and when I got reported to that teacher, the administrators at the time were just like, so someone in your class has reported that you were looking at guns on your laptop. Is this true? And I was like, okay, well, what period was it? And the period is what class was it basically? And like, oh, well, it was during your English class. And I was like, okay, well, in that particular instance, I was looking at what you call airsoft guns. And the black guy that I was talking to, the administrator, was like, okay, well, I don't know what this is. Can you tell me all about the sport and whatnot so that I know a little bit more about it? So I basically tell him, no, Busker. It was no, I didn't have to. I basically had to tell him all about the airsoft sport, which is really awkward to do with an administrator who's black and really liberal because any black liberal basically wants gun rights taken away from everyone, including airsoft guns. So this was incredibly difficult to do, and I was like, okay, this is what I was looking at. They're not real guns. Every image had the orange flash hider on it, so it was obvious that they're not real guns. And he's like, oh, okay, well, it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, you were looking at this on class time and things like that. So because of that, we are going to write you a level 3 referral. And for those of you who don't know what a level 3 referral is in my public education system because it changes throughout the world and whatnot. A level 3 referral is one step away from the level 4 referral, and a level 4 referral will get you expelled from school and a level 3 referral will get you suspended. And I want to say I was suspended for a good 10 days because I was looking at evike.com, which is a fairly ridiculous thing to get suspended for. But uh, yeah, that's how far people have come in terms of being afraid, I guess, of it. I don't want to say an armed society, but people who know more about guns. For example, myself. People are really scared of what we quote unquote gun nuts who really enjoy firearms and know how most of them work and all these different like workings with them and things like that. I want to say when I told my new student experience teacher in college that I wanted to be a gunsmith when I grew up and I wanted to own my own gun store and gun manufacturing business, otherwise known as Blue Jay Industries, which you guys know about from the Lego models that I make of the gun concepts that I hopefully am going to make them one or real life one day. Um, I want to say she was kind of concerned. She was like, "Oh, well, why don't you pursue a career in oh, well, communication because you're so good at communicating because when you get up in front of people, you really change how we all view you because you're such a good public speaker." And she said all this other things and whatnot. And I really am a good public speaker and I can agree to that because while I'm in front of you guys speaking to you right now and it feels natural to me. Everything's just coming natural today, which is good because there are some streams where I'm really dead and tired and nothing really comes natural. But this one, we're doing pretty good so far. Um, so yeah, she just she kind of was like, "Yeah, no, don't do that. Stop that. That's not okay. Stop." Yeah, that's the end of that story basically. I hate it when people think guns are evil. It's not the guns that are evil, it's the people who use them for evil things that are evil. And whoever is talking about the guns, generally speaking, doesn't make that distinction. In my, they, yeah, guns don't choose who buy them. Yeah, who use them. Yes, they aren't dangerous unless they're put in the wrong hands. That is also true. Um, my SPC 1608. And for those of you who have been on the channel and have been in the streams long, you hear me talk about SPC 1608 all the time because I loved SPC 1608. Is speech, the fundamentals of speech. Um, there were a few people in there who wanted to do a a speech on gun rights and how the loopholes should be changed and things like that. And the teacher would go around the room and he'd have everyone address their topics before the actual speech itself so that everyone knew like, hey, this person has so and so topic, you can't choose it. So if you have duplicates, you're gonna have to change whichever topic you have. And when I heard someone say that they wanted to do gun rights, and the teacher asked if we wanted to ask that person any questions, I basically asked a shit ton of questions that destroyed their arguments uh, pretty bad. Like that person, it destroyed their arguments so bad that they had to change the entire topic that they were doing at that point because I made them look like they had no idea what they're talking about, and they're like, "Oh, well, I want to close loopholes in X system," and I was like, "Okay, well, do you know so and so about that system? Do you know that these people who are like felons and things like that can do so and so with guns? Do you know that if you take guns from law-abiding citizens, that you're not helping the problem at all because literally all you're doing is taking guns from law-abiding citizens because if criminals have already illegally bought and modified all their firearms, what makes you think they're gonna just legally give up all their bought and modified firearms or their illegally smuggled in firearms and whatnot?" It just, I completely destroyed them, and afterwards, no one ever really touched the subject of gun rights again at that point. Um, which is, I'm not trying to brag about being able to destroy people about guns and stuff, but if you're gonna debate me in guns and stuff like that, please do it, you know, okay, I guess. Do it knowing what you're getting into. Don't tell me that a magazine is a clip. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. Next year I can get a permit, but I can only get rifles and shotguns. That means you live in Canada, I want to say. That sounds like Canada's laws to me. Um, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that sounds like Canada because that's just like I said, that just sounds like Canada from what I know about Canada's gun laws. And I want to say Canada has more strict gun laws than the United States does. Um, Clipazine. Yeah, no. The only person that I let get away with saying clipazine is Drac, and that's because he's trying to kind of like make fun of that entire argument with Nerf clipazines because it's not really a magazine, it's not really a clip, it's just a clipazine. So Drac is the only one that I really let get away with saying that. But any other person who says a gun magazine is a clip, just it really gets on my nerves. If you're gonna debate me, know the lingo that you're talking about, please. I've shot a hunting rifle. My dad owes me time to shoot an AR-15. Sounds pretty fun. It should take 6 months for a rifle license, but it actually takes over a year and a half. Yeah, a lot of that comes down to laziness and work ethic and people not wanting to do the paperwork and whatnot. And there's so many people who come in and they are purchasing firearms and whatnot because basically what happens when there's a Sandy Hook incident, and I really don't want to talk about that. Yo, you live in the U.S.? Why do you need a permit then? Whatever. When there's a Sandy Hook incident and the government talks about banning certain firearms, they're inadvertently driving up the sale of X firearm. Like when they said that they were going to ban green tips, which is 255 ball. I'll look this up real quick. 2555 ball or ball ammo. I think I got the wrong numbers, but okay, I'll just look up green tips so that I can make my point, and then I'm gonna go get something. These are green tips. I'm trying to find the 5.56s. I think these are, yeah, here it is. So these are 5.56 NATO green tips. And what they are is armor defeating penetrating rounds, but not really. They're not. They're not. The government tried to ban these a while back, and the reason they tried to ban these is because they claimed that because certain pistols that can shoot this ammo, in, for example, the PLR-16, which is a Kel-Tec weapon. I've already built this one. It's a 5.56 pistol that can shoot 5.56 green tips. The ATF had ruled that it was killing cops because it was defeating their body armor and things like that. So they were trying to ban the ammo for sale in the United States. And when they tried to do that, they inadvertently drove up the amount of people who wanted to buy the ammo, and those boxes of green tip ammo like flew off the shelving. Ghost gun 30 round magazine clip, 1,500 rounds a second, laser guided bullets. Yes, I know the video that you're referencing. I hate that guy so much. It's not even funny. I shot a Glock 19. It was at an indoor range. Sounds like fun. I'm more of a 1911 kind of guy, which is it's that's funny. I know. I just like 1911s more. I don't know what it is about guns, but they're so fun. Well, if you're using it for a more fun use. If you guys want something that's really fun, X Products cannon. This is something that you guys can get if you guys want to have some real fun. I love the X Products can. So, what this is the best image of it of Iraq 8888, Iraq veteran 8888. He runs a YouTube channel. This is a muzzle device that you can thread onto your AR-15, and you put a blank in your chamber and you put an aluminum can down the end of this thing, and you basically have a mortar for a fucking gun. It's great. Uh, Demolition Ranch did like multiple videos with the can cannon, just doing random shit with it. It's so fun. I love the can cannon. Did Bacher get you into Madoka Magica or something? I want to say that it was Bacher in particular, but Bacher kind of drove my interest for it because I saw the musket that he made. I have a friend on Xbox Live who's really into anime, and I asked her for like an anime to watch because the two that I have right now, and it's on the other screen, it's right here. The two that I have are I'm gonna switch to it real quick and then just do this. This is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and then I also have uh, Kuroshitsuji. My Japanese is getting really bad because I haven't practiced it in a while, but that's basically Black Butler in translation. So um, I have one that's in English and one that's in Japanese. So basically, what happens is if I'm watching one in Japanese, I have to actually be paying attention to the screen because my Japanese isn't strong to the point where I can watch it and understand the plot line fully. I'll understand certain things, like if they're saying good morning, things like that. If they're about to eat, take a bath, drink, or anything like that, I'll understand that, and I'll understand certain action sequences. But when it comes to actual like plot line and politics and things like that, I can't understand, so I have to physically watch it. So since JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is new and I haven't, it doesn't have a dub, which is the English version, I have to watch it in Japanese. And if I'm playing the Xbox and I want to watch an anime, then I have to watch something in English, which is why I watched Madoka Magica, and now I'm watching Black Butler. So that's why that is there. Look up the 14.5 by 144 millimeter. I can already tell you that it's going to be bigger than a 50. A 50 is like 12.55, I think. 14.5 by 144 millimeter. I'm going to assume it's a 20 then, because these are all anti-tank rifles. This is a Russian PTRD, I think is what they call it. One of these two is a Russian PTRD, so it must be a 20 millimeter round, if they're all that big. And if it is these are 50 BMGs, and this is a 20 millimeter right here. So the only guns I've shot are the L98A2, which is 5.56 NATO cadet rifle, and I think it's called the L81, which is 7.62 NATO, and this was in cadets. Mm-hmm. And L98A2. Okay. It seems like fun. These are definitely good guns, and they're one of the more popular bullpup assault rifles out in Europe. They're not so popular over here because we never get any, but yeah. Yeah, guys, so it's hot, and I really need to turn off fans, so I'm gonna set you guys down right here. I'm gonna go get something to drink and stuff like that. But the good news is I can leave you with a little present, otherwise known as an ad, so that you're not entirely bored while I'm gone, and I might be able to generate some of the money to go to Scotland or Ireland or something like that, so I can drink and whatnot. So yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Oh, I can't play an ad while the stream is live? Okay, well, I think that's dumb, but okay. I'll be back, guys. Sorry if, you know, yeah. I don't know if Quinn is asking me if I was in the military, if he's asking Oliver if he was in the military. Uh, no, I've never been in the military. Um, I've taken the ASVAB, which is the aptitude test that basically uh, determine what position you would be in the military unit. So if you score really high on the ASVAB, you can go into officer positions, things like that. If you score more low on the ASVAB, they'll basically put you into the shit jobs that no one else wants to do, to be perfectly honest, which is basically maintenance of vehicles and things like that, which in particular is not such a great job in the military. It's definitely something that needs to be done, and I applaud anyone who does it, but it's not the best of jobs. And I guess if you have a passion for it, it could be a lot more fun. But yeah, no, I have never been in the military. Um, in terms of how I did on the ASVAB, I want to say I got a 96. out of the recruiter said 100 because the Navy called me in and the Army called me in and I want to see the Marines called me in as well, and they were all like, "Hey, you scored pretty high on your ASVAB. Have you ever thought about going into the military?" And when I told them I really didn't really care about going into the military, they're like, "No, no, no, you should definitely care about going into the military because this was your score and it's really good." And I was like, "I really don't care. Just I like just I want to go back to class. Let me go back to class." And then I went back to class. But yeah, so yeah, no, I've never been in the military or anything like that. I applaud anyone who wants to go into the military though. Like that's not my type of thing to do. But if you want to go into the military, that's fine. You can definitely do that for your country. You're going into the military when you're 17, you can't wait. All right, well, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. So go for it, I guess. That's your prerogative is the way to say that. But yeah, like I said, that if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. And yeah, I can't really say anything. Yeah, Oliver, I remember you talking about wanting to go into the tank regiment. I remember that. I want to say it was like one or two streams ago. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now is because I'm gonna have to these are four studs that I'm about to convert to right here for the grip right that's going right here. And when I convert down the four studs like that, I'm gonna need to be able to cover up the indentations that are gonna be right here. So that's what I basically just did. It's way too long. What else did I got up to math today is I want to say where we stopped off in my school day because my school days are fairly interesting. I could talk a fairly good amount about my school days because I have a feeling a lot of you actually like hearing about my school days, even though most of my school days involve shit happening all the time, with like horror stories of what college life is definitely like, basically. Folding stock, I said at the beginning of stream that I was going to do folding stock, and then I slowly devolved into not wanting to do the folding stock in particular because I'm about to do what I'm about to do, which is where I'm having the four studs, the grip, which is four studs, and then have the thing, the stock to be five studs, which is complicated to do. And the problem with doing a folding stock is that I'd have to move it out by like half of a stud, which is kind of a problem. Also, I really hate when people put horrible kid shows on YouTube. It's your opinion, man. I don't mind it when people put horrible kid shows on YouTube. If I could find the entire Star Wars Rebels on YouTube, I'd be happy. I probably won't though, which is really disappointing because that show is getting really good. You're done with algebra. Congratulations on finishing algebra. I was just about to get into some of my other my college. Uh, what else happened during college today? Um, trying to remember what actually happened during college today because kind of forgetting, to be honest. Today in let's see, I go to SLS algebra and then speech. So in speech today, we were talking all about group functions, and I've already been through speech. I go here because I have friends that go there, and I also really like the teacher because the teacher's a really good teacher. Like if you guys ever want to know about public speaking, this is the guy to go to because oh my gosh, he's so good at it. He can teach you how to public speak like no other person, which is where I get it from because it's just so natural the way he speaks. and the way his sentences flow and how he pauses and how his movements work. He's a really great teacher. But anyways, like I said, we were talking about all day today. We were just talking about how the group kind of. I'm off. Where am I off? Uh-oh. Oh, I'm off right there. Oh no. That means I'm gonna have to drop this down another stud. It's not that big of a deal. I was planning on doing that anyways. So we were talking about how groups break down and how I feel really bad for these people, but there's a group in class called the Slacker group, and the reason they're called the Slacker group is because I shit you not, literally none of their group showed up today, which really sucks when you have a group presentation due and none of your group shows up, which means you're not doing any of your work that you need to be doing for this group presentation, which is kind of important because if you don't give this group presentation, you kind of, fail a course. And, you really don't want to fail a course in college where, you're paying godly amounts of money for the course. I like the idea of mechanized infantry. It's a cool idea, and it's definitely different from the older days when people were out on foot, and a lot of times the only people who were on tanks were the people driving the tanks or inside the tanks. The tank commander is your gunner, your driver, and then your co-pilot who was just kind of there as a mechanic for the most part. But sometimes he did things. What do you want to do? I don't know if you're talking to Ian or if you're talking to me, but in terms of me, I'd like to grow up to be a weapons designer. Was it Jim who didn't like it when you talked about college? Jim didn't like when I talked about college because that day I was talking about just straight horror stories about how horrible college actually is. And it's not so horrible so much as I just make it seem really horrible because the shit that happens to me is horrible, I guess. But yeah, no, we talked about group dynamics in speech today. Afterwards, we went over to our Asian Humanities class, which is all about India, and we've already gone over that unit, and China, and we've already finished that unit. So we just got into Japan actually. And the really cool thing is that the professor respects the culture so much that he actually did an entire day on anime, on how Shinto Japanese culture had affected and or affected anime, which is really cool. I really like learning about that type of stuff because now I know what to look out for in the certain different types of animes and things like that. We talked about the war in the Pacific today, and how like their how they believed, I guess you could say, with the islands and the different things like that. For any of you who don't know what the War in the Pacific was, it was basically Japan started the war of the Axis powers in World War II. We talked about, of course, what led up to the War in the Pacific, the kind of ideology that Japan went into the War of the Pacific with, which for the most part is goodbye, Dat leaning place. For the most part, is basically them saying like, this is our home, this is our territory, fuck America, get out, things like that. Which is fairly true because for the most part, Japan was a very isolated country during the 1800s. And then America came knocking and was like, yo, bitch, open up your doors or we're going to take our guns and shove it up your ass. And Japan was like, oh no, please don't do that. So they opened up the doors. America came in, did forced trading, things like that. Um, America kind of just raped Japan. They just kind of forced their ideas upon Japan, and then Japan just kind of had to go with it. And that's where the real split and stuff kind of, happens. I wanted to be a paratrooper, but then I went skydiving. Oh, Datlini plays said that he accidentally said bye bye, so he doesn't mean that he's actually leaving. One of my friends is a ranger who jumps out of planes. He just graduated from ranger school actually, so he says it's a lot of fun. He really loves jumping out of planes. I don't know if I should believe him because I think he's crazy for jumping out of planes, but at the same time, I think it'd be really fun to jump out of planes. I don't think it'd be fun to jump out of planes when people are shooting at you like in World War II, because you're not really worried about the explosion hitting you. You're worried about the shrapnel from the explosion hitting you. So German Flak 88s, they'd have an 88 millimeter shell, and because that 88 millimeter shell is basically just a shit ton of metal with an explosion on the inside of it, all of those fragments get thrown out when it explodes, and those are what you're worried about getting hit by. And it might not even have to hit your body because it could always hit your parachute, tear holes in it, and then you lose your slowing power and stuff, and then you start falling out of the sky. It is good fun, but the moment of free fall is a bit weird and it put me off. I was in Huntsville, Alabama for a little bit, and then the only real thing in Huntsville, and no offense to people who live in Huntsville or future people who do live in Huntsville, the only thing that's really fun there is a place by the name, or well, I'll be honest, I can't really remember the name, but basically what it is it's a science center almost, and at the science center they have all these different exhibits set up kind of, and one of the things that they have there is what they call the sky shot. And what it is a giant thing that shoots you up into the sky. And at the top, you get weightless and you start coming down for a second. Uh, I want to say that's where I developed a kind of like a love-hate relationship with being weightless. I really, really hated it at the time because I was like, holy shit, I never want to do that again in my life. I can't believe I let you people convince me into doing this. But at the same time, when I got back on, like the good fourth time that I got back on, I really enjoyed the ride more than I had hated it by that point. And I can't believe I had gotten on another like four times afterwards, but I thought it was really fun. It was just the first little amount of free fall, like you were saying, is really off-putting, but after that it gets really fun. Ninja, listening to you and I'm like getting an education and shit. Yeah, I just know a lot about a lot of things. The final exam in speech SBC 1608 for us was an impromptu speech, which is basically he gave us a topic that we knew information on, and we had to talk for 2 to 3 minutes on that topic nonstop. And if we stopped, then obviously our grade would get lower. And if we went above or below the time in which we had, we would get a lower grade, obviously. But yeah, it was a pretty good speech. I did pretty great on that speech. I actually talked about you guys on that speech. I talked about YouTube and how I was running my YouTube channel and things like that, and what I would do with $10 million if I won the lotto, which is what the speech was on. Should make the handle more rounded. I should, but it's like I could the certain pieces that I would use would kind of ruin the look of it. I've done the rounded handles before using either these pieces or these pieces. And the problem with using either of these is when I get to this point here where this edge is at, it kind of messes up the flow of everything that I have here. And then when I get down towards the bottom, it also messes up the flow of everything that I have because I'd have to use different pieces. So, all right, let's take for example this piece, and I'll go ahead and I'll modify it so that I can use this piece because I have to go ahead and delete these two pieces here, which ruins my bottom curve, which I don't want to do. And then I just have to carry those on down like that. And then I'd have to use like this piece on the inside of here, basically. Maybe use base plates on the bottom instead of these 2x3 slope or 1x3 inverted slopes. I might, whenever I like look back at it later on and whatnot, but I don't know if I will or not at this point. I'll put this piece in there eventually, sometime. Do it now, in fact, because I just realized what I could do. I could just drop this piece going on down it. What am I doing? It's in here. And then put that there. And then I'll just run a 4 going over it. Like that. Who inspired me? Good question. I wanted to say that I pretty much did myself because growing up, we always wanted to play with guns, like cops and robbers. With my next door neighbors in particular, were like some of my best friends and stuff. And I need to sneeze, so if there's a sneeze in the next couple of seconds, you know why. But um, but yeah, no, we really like to play cops and robbers and stuff, and we got tired of doing finger guns and stuff. And I was a fairly good Lego builder back then, and I'm a stud high on this. So yeah, I think I'll drop this down with stud just to get what I want out of it. But yeah, no, I was a fairly good Lego builder even back when I was a little bit younger because I've been with the Lego system for a long time. And I was like, well, guys, why don't we use our Lego bricks to our advantage and we'll just use uh, Lego bricks to make guns out of, and then we'll have the guns that we want and we'll be fine. We can play cops and robbers like we want. So, like, the very, very first gun that I had was like really bad, and I want to say that I have a model somewhere on my Google Drive that I could show you guys, but it's so heartbreakingly bad that it's just not even funny. Oh God. Uh, so yeah, that I want to say that myself was it, and then I slowly got into learning that there was more of a culture into Lego gun building. That there were people who were doing it way, way before I was doing it. Jack Street, M Dunn was just starting when I was just starting. So me and M Dunn basically started at the same time almost. Um, I want to say Nick Brick was around at that time, and I want to say Zotzi was doing like some of his first creations about that time. Your inspiration is M Dunn. That's fine. M Dunn's not a bad builder, and he's getting particularly good lately with some of his more recent models. Like I said in a previous live stream, I think he's gone around to the other Lego gun YouTubers and he's realized that he's being left behind by everyone, and that for the longest of times, all of his models were the baseline for the community. If you didn't make anything better than M Dun, you were considered bad, but if you made things better than M Dun, you were considered good. And I think because he saw that, he kind of slowly realized that he needed to step up his game, and because he needed to step up his game, he stepped up his game, which is good. I I can appreciate that because now there's going to be better models coming out of him, which is both good for me and him, uh, and us as the community that is like a gun builders. So yeah, I'd say that's good enough. You remember Jack Street? Yeah, I remember Jack Street. He was like the OG Lego working shooting gun creator guy. And then when he shared his mechanism, there was a big rift in the community because people kept stealing it and then calling it their own, and that they did it and stuff like that. No inverted slopes on the grip. Yeah, no. I think I'm gonna go with this one because it just it works just a tad bit better than the inverted slopes because it kind of strengthens it up, drags it all together and stuff like that. And at the same time, it's doing what it needs to do. I've always liked M Done. Certain models I've liked M Done more than some of the other models that he does. Like when he does really really good models, like his Papa Shook 41 was fairly good. Like that was his first ever magazine release gun. That was a really good model, and I'll give him props for doing the Papa Shoot because he did very well on it. But there were some other guns where I just questioned what he was doing, which in particular is some of like his revolver models that are, you know, yeah. I've always wanted one of his guns. If you want one of his guns, then go. I've built two of his guns before. My PDW-57, my like very very first original PDW-57, was based off of his pretty much exactly. Like I just watched his video from a bunch of different angles and replicated his design. And then my executioner from Black Ops 2 was based off of his as well. And I was gonna put out instructions for the executioner from Black Ops 2, but I never got an email back from M Dunn as to whether or not it was okay to do that, because I never got an email back from him asking or telling me or confirming me to me that that was okay to put out instructions for that video. I never did it. His new UMP 45 is one of your favorites. I think if he showed it off more than instead of doing the video and stuff, I would have liked it better. Like, I don't mind him doing the Daisy videos with it, but I still want to be able to see the gun more than I want to see acting. I think he and Zotzi's were my inspiration to actually start trying with Lego guns. That's pretty legit. They're some of the better ones in the community, or some of the better builders in the community, so that's fine. Have you? I seen your magazine release video? Yeah, I have. Your Inform magazine release video that was put out like this morning. I watched it between math class and speech. It's 12 o'clock here right now. It's at the bottom of the screen. You guys should be able to see it. I'm trying to figure out what I'm about to do. I need to, I basically need to make the rest of the gun before I do this entire section right here. Um, I want to say I've done like two things that I haven't gotten credit for. The first thing is I started live streaming, uh, and I made it bigger. I'm not gonna say that I was the OG person to live stream a Lego build because I know the person who did that, and I'll give him credit for it, and that was Future Yeti 3. He did one of his live streams like way before I did mine, and I want to say his was like really unsuccessful when he did it, which is why he never continued with the entire idea. But whenever I saw that video, I was really inspired to go ahead and do another one. And because I'm working with LDD where I have instant access to the bricks and I could just talk to you guys like 1v1 because it's just LDD, it's not too hard to find bricks and things like that. Then that's where it started getting popular and people realized that this is a real viable option that you can do in the community. So now we've seen, I've done live streaming, I've seen Future Yeti 3 do more live streams still. He'll piggyback off of me, like if I finish up a live stream in one day, he'll come and he'll tell everyone like, yo, hey, I'm about to live stream. You guys mind coming and viewing me, things like that, and then we'll all come together and stuff. And then as Ian just pointed out in chat, Christopher Hotman just started live streaming too. He was live streaming yesterday when I got home and I went to bed, which is really unfortunate because I really wanted to go watch his live streams. I'm about to when I go to bed tonight, I'm gonna have that playing in the background because that's something really cool. I'm going because either way I'm not staying much longer. Alright, goodbye to you two. Have fun with your sleeps and sleep good and stuff. The second thing that I started that I haven't seen, I want to say like I've seen one or two people give me credit for it, but not really that many people have started using it, is I started the trigger design that you see here, where you're using these types of bricks. And then the other one, which was using these bricks here, and you would flip it on around this way, and then you'd have the cheese wedge piece going uh, here, and then up here would be the pivot. I started that design, and I haven't seen much credit given to it for me. I know like most models are inspiration and things like that, but goodbye Ian, goodbye Oliver, have sweet dreams and stuff. But yeah, it just kind of bothers me a little bit when people don't give credit for anything that you do. I understand that it's inspiration and that you got inspired by someone to do it, but at the same time, tell people who you. Thanks for telling me good luck with the build, Oliver. You need to tell people who you got inspired by because that's. If I did Christopher Hotman's CZ75 design and then just completely glossed over the fact that I used his model as inspiration and I basically just recreated it all, that's kind of a dick move and not okay in my book. So, yes. Um, so what I'm gonna do is file save as whenever this says to pop up on the desktop. This is gonna be the op. I should probably call it AWM op M. We'll go with that because it's technically the Arctic Warfare Magnum. There is no AWP, but this works. And then we'll go WIP stock one that's on the desktop. I just came up with that trigger design. Yeah, but that's fine and all, but I was the first one to do it, and no one's ever said anything about me being the first one to do it, which is what's bothering me. I want to say Jim is the like when he first did it, he gave me credit for it, which is fine. Like the second you start doing it, give me credit for it. But I want to say Jim and like one other person, which I think was say oh, damn, what's his name? Brandon, Future 83. I want to say he also gave me credit when he did it. I made a trigger without rubber bands. That it sounds like something that's hard, but I've also made a trigger without rubber bands. I actually used one of the Technic shock axles, which are somewhere in these. I actually don't remember where these are. I used this one in particular, not these L ones. But yeah, I use these as a trigger mech, which is fairly interesting because it changes up the way the trigger rotates and things like that. Um, yeah, though that is, I think that's all I'm gonna get through tonight. I want to go play Xbox with friends and stuff now. And this is actually a lot more of a pain in the ass than what I thought it was gonna be. And we're a good hour and 30 minutes in. My voice is getting a little hoarse. I've already drank like half this damn water bottle that I had that I just got. So I think this is where we're gonna stop for tonight and whatnot, and then I'll pick it back up tomorrow. And I don't have school tomorrow, so we should be fine. I know, but I didn't like watch any of the videos about the trigger. Hmm. I guess it's coincidence then. Whatever. So yeah, I'll pick up tomorrow with this build. I need to cut the grass tomorrow, and I need to clean my room tomorrow. But other than that, I should be relatively free to live stream tomorrow. I have a shit ton of math homework to do, but I'm planning on doing that around Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday-ish. And then about that time is sometime over the weekend. I might also live stream. I know I'm gonna live stream tomorrow. And if I don't, I apologize. I'll put out the G3A4 video right after this one, so you guys have something to watch. But I should be live streaming again sometime this week. So thank you guys so much for watching. I've got 3 people left here. I know Ranger and Busk are still here, but thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later in another YouTube video and things like that, and all that wonderful jazz and all this other stuff that I need to say, but I can't remember. So see ya.